All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Everyone is having an amazing morning, and I hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm doing great. How about you, buddy?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Cannot complain. All right, guys. Let's take a look at what we have here. We do have a nice green gappers list this morning. A couple of stocks on here. Some that we have not seen in some time, and some ones that obviously we've been watching very closely, like some of the cruise lines
I
coming
feel
in
like
here.
I feel like the Gappers is so small that we should shut this down and start the party up in about half an hour.
I agree. I agree. Let's see how this is going to be in like 15 more minutes. But I am with you, man.
Yep.
It is a very decent gappers list this morning. We can actually fit everything in one of the gappers columns, green and red. So that's good to see. We have a few in the red this morning, NVAX and Z. So can't wait to get into those and see what Z is up to this morning, down 3%, almost 4. So we'll get into that. But before we do that, guys, as usual, let's go over to our market pulse and kind of get an idea of what's happening with the market, what's the latest and greatest there.
Yeah, so currently gapping up slightly more. Well, it just popped again. So up a little over 1/3% this morning on the SPY. Like you said, there's not nearly the length of gappers that we've been having pretty consistently over the last 2 months. Things are settling down just a little bit. The VIX has kind of settled in here around 30. Thank God I got to shave. Um, but yesterday, really, if you would pull up a 5 or a 15 chart from yesterday, that's kind of the story of what's going on. And a lot of the commentary was, we gapped up yesterday morning. We've had a pretty decent streak, especially on the Qs. Um, Tech stocks have just been on fire recently. Apple's had a massive string of great days. And then, so yesterday we were up a little bit and just this consistent sell-off trend really all day. In that last hour and 15 minutes of the market, just a really big sell-off on heavy volume going down. People were concerned. Now, I really am not too concerned. Not that I am not alerted to what happened, but we've mentioned over and over when we've been talking about this, the extremely tough resistance level that sits around 293-ish, 295-ish in that area. We grappled with that last spring and summer, months and months and months, over and over, between like 280, 293-ish. Levels aren't a defined line. It's a little bit of a gray area. So it's really not surprising to me that we rejected that. We'll see where we end up. A lot of people are saying it's jitters over reopening of the economy. Truth be told, we've just come a long way from this massive drop we've had that was extremely fast. And we've come back a long way with the market's forward looking, but in the present, we haven't seen a whole lot of change. A lot of these companies are coming out on the earnings calls, which have been predominantly better than expected. They sure as heck haven't been worst case scenario, saying that, yeah, March was terrible, but in the few weeks since the quarter ended in March until the time of our call, we're seeing green shoots. We're seeing improvement in April. Now, I think the market's a little concerned about a second wave or opening too early and the potential of consequences to come from that. But that having been said, we sit here with a nice bounce from where we were, just a month to 6 weeks ago. So that's where we're sitting. As far as economic data this morning, not a ton. We had PPI come out 8:30. I haven't had that read yet. Jerome Powell is talking at 9 a.m., so just before the market opens, and he'll be, I'm sure, still talking once the market actually opens and the bell rings. So that's where we sit, buddy.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate that. All right, guys, we are getting some lag on YouTube. Not sure the reason for that, but hopefully it gets better. But we would do some testing after so we don't bog down the show what's going on with the video lag over on YouTube. All right, guys, so here's what we have this morning. Let's make some room. Let's remove this watch list from here. Let's make some room in our columns, and then let's look at what we have this morning. So let's make some, oops. Here we go. All right, some extra columns here. Let's start with what it is gapping down this morning. We have Z leading the gappers down list this morning, which we don't have many anyway. But Z is down 4.1 this morning, a decent pre-market activity. Looking at their daily, they obviously have been very, very active in the last couple of days here. They do have an interesting daily though, although the volume is not all that great. They do have a very nice daily here, coming up all the way up from 20 to the 20s up to 58 on this nice run up. And then a couple of days here, we've seen some hesitation trying to get above this pre-market high, and now we're down a little bit here. So pre-market action looks good. We got some pretty good volume, 414,000 shares traded. Norm, I know this thing has had news in the last couple of days. Well, what's going on today with it?
So they've got a secondary offering and some convertible notes that they've got due in 2025. So they're trying to raise capital on this.
Gotcha. All right, so we will definitely keep an eye on this one, guys, to see what we can get out of it, and we'll see. Sometimes this news does not trade well, guys. I mean, right now pre-market looks good, the daily looks interesting. Could be, sometimes it could surprise us. Maybe this news will trade great today, but we'll have to see how this develops a little bit later into the day. Let's look at JMIA this morning. This one we have looked at in the past. Right now, this is down 3.4, 150,000 shares traded. Pre-market actions. It's looking okay, a little bit choppy and blocky, although you're getting a range here. You can see how these candles are being built. They're not the greatest. We've definitely seen better than that. On their daily charts, the stock doesn't trade a lot of volume, under 3.2 for the most part, and they're not a low flow. They're sitting at 30 million shares float, so we can definitely take a look to see how that's going to get a little bit later. CAPR this morning on here. So CAPR at the moment, they are down 4.3, 1.2 million shares traded. Although you got great volume on this one, the daily, the intraday, not the intraday, the pre-market is looking okay, not all that great. It's starting to get better here, right? Has lost the previous day close. Let's hope this volume continues to get, get consistent here and provide us a pretty good pre-market action. So we'll take a look at that. But if you look at their daily, guys, their daily is really all over the place. They are low flow stocks, so you want to be cautious. I'm going to bring this down here just to take a look at it a little bit later. But this is one that was very active. Did pop up here. Now, for the type of stock that it is, it did hell in this area, right? It did consolidate it. It's consolidated, so then we got some action on it. Let's see if it's going to be one of those days where it's going to be in play. All right, let's take a look at let's go over to our green VTIQ. Now, this one we did not keep yesterday. I did not keep yesterday. Let's see how I actually traded. Let's go back over here. I had a big day. It looked like I had a pretty clean trading day yesterday, so hopefully some of you guys did watch this one. You can see here beautifully how it just grabbed onto that 9 moving average, and it traded very, very well. So today, right now, we do have some good volume on it, 803,000. I think that was more than what we actually saw yesterday in the pre-market, so we got some pretty decent volume today. Still a very choppy pre-market action, but now given the fact that this stock normally has a choppy pre-market action like we saw yesterday, and still traded well, could be worth watching this morning. They're sitting slightly at 25 million shares float, so again, a little bit on the lower side than what we like to trade, but not a low flow. We can definitely take a look at this one and see if we're going to get a possible continuation. Now, the daily here, we're getting pretty extended, so we have to be just mindful of that. All right, let's go over to ALC this morning. Norm, if you have anyone that has news on it, just let me know. We can always jump in.
I'm trying to see if I can do anything with this YouTube feed, so I'm a little bit out of it. I apologize, but I will hop in.
Okay, this is what we'll do. Let's cut it.
This is a foreign company. It's out of Switzerland, I believe. They make medical instruments and such, so I think they have eye care products. Anyway, they did report earnings last night. I have not looked through them just because it's foreign. That daily's a little ugly, especially when it moves, so I probably won't touch this myself.
Gotcha. All right. We will definitely stay away from that foreign
looks like
stuff.
You got you, and it looks like YouTube's working better now.
All right, perfect. All right, let's look at SDC, Smile Direct. This one was very, very active yesterday. I did drop it off my list, but for the most part, you can see here it had a big day, big gap up, and then gave it all back, coming right back to this level around $8 here, which is a great support area, resistance for this stock that now became support. We're getting a little bit of a bounce this morning, up 4.4, 252,000 shares traded at the moment. I think this will be a good one to watch on here, so we'll keep an eye on this one. Possible continuation play for today. INO this morning. Let's see how this traded yesterday. This is one I always remove Again, it's just one of those stocks that for me starts very choppy. So had an interesting open, guys. Nice little break up and break down here. Eventually, after it settled down 30 minutes in, gave you a beautiful pop here. So if you were patient and you waited for that, you were able to take advantage of this trade here. So this stock reminds me a little bit of AMD. When AMD is that first 30 minutes when it's choppy, you just want to stay away from it and give it 30 minutes to an hour. And then if it's going to be in play, if it's going to give you a move, wait for a breakout around the VWAP to go one way or the other. And this just did that yesterday. So AMD does that sometimes, man. AMD can be very choppy at the open if it's not going to be in play immediately after the bell. You give it about 30 minutes or so, and you see how beautiful it trends sometimes. So this reminds me a little bit of that type of stock. So this morning they have 632,000 shares traded right now. They are pre-market is looking pretty decent at the moment. Their daily also is looking very well, guys. We can see here we created a nice base at 11 and was able to get up to this level here. So definitely one that we can keep an eye on. INO this morning.
Can I cut in here real quick?
Yes.
Luckily, we've got a little extra time because the gapper's isn't too huge. YouTube's doing the same thing again. Can you try to?
Yeah, absolutely.
It worked for a little bit, and then it started getting better.
All right, we'll start it up again. All right, guys. So what we have next, DraftKings, DK. NG. Let's take a look at DraftKings this morning. So DKNG, this was also on our list yesterday. How did it trade yesterday? I kept this one off because we don't have a lot of history on this one. So, we just took it off the list. Let's go back and see how the actual intraday was. Oh, wait, I'm looking at INO. I'm like, wait a minute, this traded exactly like INO. What's going on here? So here is DraftKings. All right, so we did get a drop here, possible opening range breakdown. So you did have a decent open if you were watching this one. So again, not sure how these candles actually form. It's very important to see how the price action is, right? Right now, after the fact, we can look at this and say, oh, beautiful opening range breakdown. You could have got in here and perfect. But how did this actually trade, right? So I'm not sure if anybody took a stab at this yesterday, but we removed it. It did find a nice little VWAP reversal here, coming back to VWAP and then took off from there. And this is a play that we see quite often, guys. We break out of the VWAP, come back down and retest, and then get back again for our long here. Here's your VWAP line. I know that's a little bit lighter to see on the stream, but you can see right on here how it bounces off of that nicely. So again, not sure. This looks good now on paper. Not sure how it actually was when it was live. But again, this stock is one that we don't have a lot of history on, so I'm just going to skip this one and go right down to JD this morning and see what we got going on there. So JD, wow, JD's up at most recent highs here. They are hitting at 48.68 right now. Pre-market action is really choppy and really light as regards to flow and volume. So we'll keep an eye on it. This could be a good possible if it's not trading well. They are up nicely today. Their daily looks interesting. It looks like yesterday tried to break out. We're not able to. Maybe the market. It looks like the market dragged it down here. Obviously, that last power hour. But for the most part, they were strong the entire day yesterday. So
they've got earnings. They've got earnings Friday morning. They got an upgrade this morning. Gutsy call 2 days before earnings, but they're just. There's been a number of positive articles and pieces out about them and potential growth because of ordering from home and such. So
gotcha.
In China.
Yeah, I definitely like the way the daily is right now. Again, pushing up against yesterday's high here. And I'm sure, well, not sure, but it looks like if the market didn't drop the way it did, this will not be down as much as it is right now, at least as much as it was here in the pre-market. So definitely worth keeping an eye on this one. BCRX, I believe we looked at this one before, and it's one that doesn't trade very well. BCRX. What's the float on this one? 153. Yeah, we have looked at this before. I never actually kept it. Pre-market's a little bit all over the place. We are up 3.3. The daily doesn't look all that exciting, though. I don't like the way the daily's forming these candles here. Again, the last 4 days have been great. The last 3 days here, and yesterday gapped up and gave it all back. So again, but the pre-market is just not looking decent. Since we have had a couple of nice days on this, let's take a look at it. Let's see if the pre-market can get a little bit better as we get closer to 9:15. And I feel we can almost watch everything in this list today because it is so small, which is nice to see.
This one's a continuation play on positive trial results in COVID drug in Brazil.
Gotcha. Oh, yes, I remember you mentioned that. Correct. All right, so let's take a look at, we'll keep it on here, see how that's going to continue to trade. And it's not a foreign stock, I remember. They're just doing their tests out in Brazil. Nope. So worth watching, guys. They got some good positive news. In the last couple of days, they've been trading pretty strong. Let's look at BYND this morning. So they have
Beyond the meat.
yes, they have been doing really, really good, guys. Look at the highs and higher highs and higher lows here happening on the daily. Again, just kind of every single day they seem to just break a new layer of high here. So today they are up another 2.7. Well, 145 is the high of yesterday. Let's see how it traded. I think this traded very clean yesterday. Actually, no, it was the day before. The day before had an amazing open. But yesterday, very choppy. That first hour, hour and a half, really choppy here, just kind of wrapping itself around the VWAP. And then we have a nice takeoff here after things settle down. Look at this beautiful takeoff here, just incredible. And then obviously the drop with on that last hour. But for the most part, this stock was very strong yesterday. So I want to keep this one on here, guys. It did trade very clean after an hour or so. And the day before had a beautiful open as well. So BYND is good. We have another one that's coming up here on our list. Two more, RCL and EQNR. So if we look at RCL this morning, they for the most part they're doing okay with their pre-market action. They're holding on to this 36 level we have on here. You can see that's a great area of support for this stock. We have tested several times, so we're bouncing off of that in this pre-market. The action itself right now is a little bit all over the place, but RCL tends to have probably the worst pre-market activity out of all the cruise lines. Just thinking about that sector alone, compared to like a CCL, which is not on our list right now, but their pre-market though seems pretty interesting. We're going from red to green here. We're slightly just down 0.5%, but for the most part, you got some pretty good volume here and a decent pre-market activity. So we can keep both.
RCL has news specific to it this morning with a $3.3 billion debt offering to try to keep them afloat.
Oh, that is
literally.
Yeah, that I like that. That is some good news for these guys because I know they mentioned they could be struggling to get back on their feet here. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on RCL, and then just looking at CCL. Just right now, I like the comeback we had this morning so far. We're sitting down here. We kind of been able to just kind of get above the pre-market previous day close. We're hanging around it right now at the moment with some pretty decent volume. So let's take a look at that one and see what we get out of that. All right, EQNR. We'll do two more, EQNR in space, and then we'll go over to what you guys have this morning. So EQNR is garbage. Nothing going on here. We'll skip on that one. SPCE. This one is not doing much neither right now. Again, just barely hanging above this previous day close line. Pre-market action is not looking all that good, so we're gonna skip on this one right now. Norm, what do you like aside from what's on here this morning? What do you like?
Well, I think we've got to talk about Grub and Uber. So yesterday, Uber and Grub both took off on midday rumors just before I came on the mic at 11 a.m. Rumors that they were in talks for Uber acquiring Grub. Usually the vast majority of the time when you have one company acquiring the other, the company that's getting purchased goes up. The company that's buying something goes down. We saw not the opposite yesterday, but both actually had a hell of a rally on the news. Grub, obviously, because it's going to be acquired at a premium, but then Uber shot up on consolidation of the industry, maybe some better pricing power, better margins in the future if they can get out some of their competitors. I think it would put them like 55% of market share in the U.S. if this took place. They then a little more news trickled in throughout the day. Toward the end of the day, Grub had come out and actually put a number on the table of what they'd like to be acquired for, which I believe it's an all-stock deal. They wanted 2.15 shares of Uber per share of Grub, and Uber kind of said, yeah, it's too high. So they both sold off a little bit going into the close. We'll see. I think more will come out of this. Grub might be tied to Uber's share price for the moment. It'll be interesting. So I'll keep my eye on it. Could be something out there.
Yep, absolutely, guys. Definitely worth watching on these two here this morning. See how they're going to be opening up and how the volume is going to come in once we get going this morning. So we'll definitely keep an eye on Uber and Grubhub as well on here. Look at the daily on Grubhub, just incredible. I mean, Uber has been very active, obviously, so it did get a pop, and they've been pretty active for the most part. But Grubhub, just look at this massive pop here, and they're holding, so that's good for them there. All right, guys, let's see what you guys like this morning. Let's go over to our chat room here. And you guys, if you have not tried our chat room, we do have a promotion. You could use pre-market 24 and get 1 week trial for a discount. So definitely try that out. All right, in our chat we have Grub. We do have D Dog. Let's look at D Dog. Man, what a play did we have on D Dog yesterday? Norm, you and Brian took that, and most of the people in the chat, just an amazing play yesterday. And again, you can't see it now, but if you go back and use your market replay, or if you recorded it, or if you actually traded and watched it, this stock here, man, the action when you called this out, I didn't have it on watch. I took it off. Once you called it out that it could be a possible breakout, that's when I put it on my list to look at it. And you could see the volume and everything just increasing, and just the action just trying to hit that pre-market high, and eventually you knew the snap was coming. And it snapped 30 cents or so, and then from there it's just never looked back. So again, the price action on this was just pretty amazing. Comes right back up to VWAP. I think you added on here. Not think, I know you added on here, because I was in shock looking at you trade this thing, you and Brian. And I forgot that I was trading. I'm like, okay, I gotta look for trades myself. And then this thing just took off just nicely here. Someone in the chat room did a beautiful trade too on the opposite end. This is where people both can profit from different ends. Someone in the chat room took it short here at 65 and covered down here. So again, you have Norman Brian long in here, right? Taking profits out. They add more here. The person goes in, takes out here, so you can make money in so many different ways in the market. This is why, again, it's just so many different ways you can trade. If someone tells you, hey, this is the only way you can trade successfully, they're out of their minds. There's so many things you can do. As long as you can find what works for you, that is the most important thing, and that you can do consistently over and over again. So guys, right now, not a lot of volume on D-Dog, but we do have a possible continuation. So I'm going to throw it on here on this list. It might not.
I'm gonna throw something out. I'd love to have another D-Dog play like it did yesterday.
Yeah.
But this stock does not trade with a ton of volume. And I might have it to the side just in case it does, a Twilio type of move where it just has some massive up move over a period of days. But that having been said, the conditions are going to have to be perfect for it, because otherwise it could really burn you. So I'm gonna be very, very careful on that.
Yeah, this is not the time to feel the FOMO and expect that what happened yesterday will happen today. So again, just wait for that setup to see if we actually get something good. But right now, pre-market is looking worse than yesterday, so I'm not sure how that's going to trade out today. I see a lot of people throwing out TWLO. Let's take a look at this one. This one right now, pre-market action is starting to get going. 127, not looking all that great though when it comes to the actual pre-market activity itself. We do have 127. It is up 1.2, and their daily is just incredible. Just look at this daily here. So it's been pretty strong over the last couple of days. Definitely worth watching. I gotta say, it's worth having as a possible. We'll continue to take a look at it and see how it continues to trade. How did it actually do yesterday? Yes, this is some pretty clean trading, guys. Nice drop here, finds a base. You can see higher highs on the 5, and then takes off above the VWAP, right to the high of the day at that point, and then just explodes. So again, this is some really good trading on a TWLO. And the last couple of days, they've been pretty strong. So we'll continue to take a look at that one this morning. Thank you for that one. NVAX. What do we have here? Let's go back up. I missed a few. VTIG, we looked at. I have it on here. Unfi. Let's take a look at Unfi this morning. Unfi, here we go. All right. So what do we have here? This stock is volume is very light right now, guys. Had a good day yesterday, a nice run up, but for the most part, the volume right now is not doing all that well. So I'm just gonna skip on this one for right now. Here's NVAX. As we know, NVAX was insane yesterday. This was one that was very active. A crazy open as well. Look at the pop and the complete drop here on NVAX. So let's remove some of these levels. This morning we do have some volume. It's starting to get going here. 389. We're trying to get to the green here, so we've been hanging out in the red for the most part for the entire pre-market action. Right now we're going green right now. So it looks to be having a great pre-market activity. I like the way it's setting up. Again, we have a nice big gap up here. Let's see if this is going to hold. For the most part right now, it looks like it does want to do that. So we can add this one on here. Again, it was very tough to trade yesterday, though. You had to be really fast and careful with this one. All right, a few more, guys. Let's look at mRNA. See what's going on there. mRNA right now 308,000, slightly below 2% at the moment. Pre-market is a little bit all over the place. So again, I'm not a fan of this one for the most part. We can throw it on here and we can scan it later when we start doing our filtering.
This one's just on continued news and some positive press on phase 2 trials cranking up
Yeah, yeah,
for their COVID vaccine. So we'll see.
yeah. But let's see how that's gonna play out today. All right, what do we have on YouTube, guys? NVAX, we have STNG. STNG this morning, no volume there, so we're gonna skip on that one. What else we have? NVAX we have, ALC. ALC we looked at and we took it off. It is a foreign stock for the most part. So we took this one off right now. And even after we looked at it earlier, it did get going here a little bit. But again, I'm just not sure about this pre-market activity. And also it's a foreign stock, so the volume is a lot lighter, sitting about 1.5 for the most part. If you look at down here, whoops, that's too much. If you look down here towards the volume bar, you can see how 1.5 is the most that it usually gets, maybe because it's foreign. And when you have that type of low volume for your regular day trading, look how nasty these candles are. You're not really getting a good daily activity on these candles here. All right, what else we have, guys? MCD, United. Let's look at MCD. McDonald's this morning, no volume. So we'll move on to the next one. United right now, also no volume. Oh, no, that's still MCD. Let's look at United, actually. UAL. And let's see, we haven't seen the airlines be active in a couple of days. UAL not doing all that much, guys. It's pretty much flat right now, sitting up against this level of support. It could be a good possible if we can get going, if we can hold this or lose this one way or the other, create some kind of movement on this right now. But again, at the moment, I'm not seeing anything all that great for the open. For later on at 10:30, 11, this could be a really good one if it can hold this level that has been a very strong area of support for this stock. You can see it right on here. I mean, just look at the action on the daily. Drops down, bounces back. You got another level right on here as well. Bounces back from there, drops all the way down to the support area, again to the support area. So that right there is a very interesting area for United. If we can lose that or bounce from it, you can get some momentum going here. But for the most part, this is a great one to have in your secondary and possibly your scanners. All right, last one, we'll do SQ, then we'll jump over to announcements. SQ on here, guys, not doing all that much. Man, this is an ugly pre-market activity, and the reason for that, although you have 202,000 shares traded, most of it sitting right in this trade here. So again, probably a block trade at the moment there that's creating almost half of the volume, 96,000 shares. So I'm not seeing anything all that
Pretty normal,
great.
but I will say that's pretty normal for Square.
Yeah, and it's
But
usually
I've seen days when it looks like complete trash before the market starts. For some reason, Brian calls it out and says, "Hey, I'm watching Square
yep,
today,"
yep.
out of the blue, and it's just a monster, but it looks terrible in the pre-market.
Yeah, I remember a year and a half ago, SQ was on Brian's list every single day, and he's very good at reading this stock. He's one of those stocks that you have to have kind of like an acquire reading graph.
Oh yeah.
Graph or whatever charts out for this type of stock. So they're daily though. They're daily, guys, looking really, really interesting. We're kind of pushing up against this level here of resistance. We did pop up above it yesterday. If the market would have not sold off that last hour, maybe that could have been something. But who knows? Who knows? All right, guys, we will. Let's see here. We have tons of stocks. Let's see. We have what else we have. Space we have and FLR. Okay, this will be the last one for real. FLIR. No volume, guys, so nothing going on here. All right, let's go over to announcements, and then we'll come back, do some levels of support and resistance, guys. And
I like the daily on FLIR, but like you said,
yeah,
no volume right now.
yeah, daily, yeah, correct. Look at this nice flow here, beautiful daily, but again, just right now, pretty dead for the most part. All right, Norm, take it away. I see Norm is standing.
Sean, we'll come back to yours. Yeah, I'm standing, man. My back's killing me. Sean, we'll come back to you on YouTube because you made sad faces. You got to me, so I'll make
man.
Carlos do
Yeah,
that
we
when
don't
we
want
get off
nobody.
announcements.
We don't want nobody sad facing for real.
No sad. We're all stuck at home. It's bad enough anyway. Guys, super excited to announce our podcast, Bearable Traders Podcast, Talk with Traders. It is available on any of your favorite podcast platforms. Just search Talk with Traders there on Spotify, Captivate, iTunes, yada, yada, yada. We've got a couple really good ones coming up. We're working on one this weekend. So subscribe over there and you'll get hit up with all the new podcasts we got coming out. Tonight, I'm a day behind this week. You've got our success webinar this week with Mike B. He's going to be talking about creating a trading business plan. So important, especially if you're a new trader. everything from, setting goals and ideas and, documents. I mean, this is a business like any other. You got to treat it as such. And Mike B's been through this process. He's going to share his process with you. He did. Speaking of Mike B, last night he had his psychology webinar, Module 3, Importance of Discipline in Trading. That will be up as a recording here very soon if it's not already. Go learn about discipline from a 23-year Marine veteran. I think he's got that down. Join Peter, Brian with Mike for the closed show every day, streaming over on YouTube 3:30 to 4:15 p.m. Eastern. They have a ton of fun. They talk about the close. They had an interesting close yesterday for sure to discuss. Earnings after the bell. Earnings are really going to start. We've got some earnings this week that are decent. They'll start picking up again next week. A lot of retail like Home Depot, Walmart, stuff like that's going to be coming out. Those will be interesting to see their take on the market. So check out these guys, 3:30 to 4:15 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, haven't been in the chat, and you'd like to give it a shot, you can do so for a week. Get a discount by using the promo code PREMARKET24. It's 1 calendar week, so 5 trading days. You also get access to the onboarding class every Monday night at 8 p.m. to get a good head start out of the gate. And it doesn't auto-renew or turn into any other kind of membership. Also, right now, to celebrate our podcast, we're giving 40% off discount on our lifetime single payment membership plan. That's 40% off with the discount code podcast.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Norm, for that. All right, guys, let's look at this watch list. Let's fine-tune this a little bit.
Well, I said we'd look at Sean. So
yeah,
let's look at Sean
I'm actually going to look at Sean. And Sean from YouTube was the first one this morning. He comes into the chat. He says, testing. And I'm like, okay, check 1, 2. So, Sean, throw that ticker out one more time. Let's take a look at that. And also,
I think was it SBSW?
SP.
You're going to make me make a sad face. SBSW. If it's SB, bravo.
Yeah. Sean.
That's sad. Sean, I'm throwing a sad face at you, buddy.
Yep. That's it.
It's a South African gold miner. Doesn't trade well.
Yep. There you go. All right, guys, let's take a look at what we have here. So SDC level 2 is interesting. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, SDC could be active today, guys. I mean, nice big drop yesterday. Some really good volume. I definitely want to keep this one on here. All right, let's look at Z this morning. Z right now has got a decent pre-market activity, guys, 513. I want to keep this one on here. I do like the daily. This is a very aggressive stock, though. You got to be careful with the number of shares on this one. So I want to keep this one on here. Hopefully, we can continue to get some good volume in here. We have seen some pretty good candles pop out of this one in the pre-market. Hopefully, that continues to stay strong there in regards to volume. JMIA, this one I'm on the fence on because I traded this one before in the past. It's not the best trading stock. It is on SSR at the moment. This might not make our list. Let's go through this and see which ones we're going to keep for sure. BTIQ looking very active this morning. I definitely want to keep this one on here. That's good. SDC we can keep. INO, guys, I'm going to remove for, you know what? I'm going to keep it today. I always remove it. I'll keep it today. We'll do some levels on it. JD, as much as I love this daily right now, again, it's just, I'm on the fence. I got to start taking some stuff off. But JD also, the daily, when I look at the daily, this looks very interesting on a possible breakout. So let's keep this on here. BCRX, we'll remove this one. This one's not looking all that great. So let's get rid of that one. BYND also looking pretty interesting. Nice little drop here this morning. Love the daily, so we'll keep that one. RCL, I'm going to remove. All right, I'm going to remove. This is another good one that could be a good possible. CCL, also very active, has a pretty nice pre-market activity now, has a good volume, 1.4 down, 1.5 million shares traded. This is also sitting at a very nice level of support, guys, so this could be a good possible, but I'm going to remove it for today. You know why? I know Thor's going to be watching it, and I can see if he calls it out, I can tune into it. So power of the community here, because I won't be able to watch all these stocks that are trading very well. Now, Uber and Grubhub, for the most part, they were very active yesterday. These I'm going to bring down over to my possibles list, because right now for the open, I don't know what to expect out of them. They could be choppy. Right now, their volume is not as great as we have seen in the past. We've seen these stocks really have better pre-market activity than this at the open. Here's Grubhub, for example, 581, some really good volume, but the pre-market action itself is not looking all that interesting for the moment. Here's Uber. Uber is actually looking a little bit worse than Grubhub. Grubhub's looking a little bit better, but I'm going to wait for these stocks to settle down and see, what the temperature is going to be on these stocks today. I'm going to put them down here. We can keep an eye on them later. If they hit our scanners, we can take a look at them. They're both right now pretty much sitting flat. As you can see, Grubhub only down 6.5 and Uber down 0.52. So see what happens there. Here's mRNA this morning. This one, guys, it's a hit or miss with mRNA. It can sometimes have a great pre-market activity and trade horrible, or a bad pre-market activity and trade well. It's one of these stocks that can be very, very explosive. Right now, their pre-market is looking pretty interesting. We are starting to get some decent movements. Looks like this thing wants to go back towards the previous day close line, so we'll keep an eye on this one. NVAX. NVAX also had a nice pop yesterday. I'm going to remove this one because yesterday they were very tough to trade. I did take a trade on NVAX yesterday right at the open. We were able to take some profits out here, and then you had this drop, got out at break even. But again, this one is a little bit wild, so I'm not sure what to expect today. I'm going to move it down to a possible. I'm not going to have it on my main list because we have some other ones that look pretty good this morning. TWLO also could get going here, has been having some pretty interesting days. And look at yesterday, how beautiful that traded. But I'm going to move this one down for today as a possible. So let's remove it from here. mRNA, we have D-Dog. D-Dog, I'm going to take off, guys. I just don't know what we're going to expect out of it right now. Look at the pre-market. We are losing it a bit. Volume is a little bit lighter than usual. We had a big day yesterday already. And this stock is very extended right now. So again, I'm not sure how much power we're going to have to keep going and pushing through these levels that we have here. Either way, we do have inventory for sure. So we have a short opportunity. We can take it towards the downside as well. So let's see. It might not make our final list as we get going through here. So here's BYND is good. JD is good. INO we'll keep today. Smile Direct is, I'm going to move down to a possible. Let's move this one down for today. And I think this is what we will keep. I think MIA, I'm going to remove also. BTQI is decent pre-market action. It's got some good volume on it. Big day yesterday. JMIA. This one I am going to move down as a possible. We'll look at it later, but I know from history, from experience, this one doesn't trade all that well, guys. It can be very, very choppy. So I'm going to remove that one. All right, so we have Z, BT, IQ, INO, JD here. BYND is looking very good, trying to get to that previous day close. That's nice. D-Dog dropping it, not with a lot of great pre-market activity, but they're losing it here. And we have mRNA as well. All right, let's do some levels. So here's a Z for the most part. We are having our low of our pre-market sitting at 45 even right there, and the high of the pre-market at 47.90. Towards the top, guys, plenty of levels from the last 2 days, been hanging around between 57 and 49. You got some highs and lows on there. Your previous day close also right around 49.22. If we lose our low of our pre-market, we do have an area right on. It has a great level at 40.97, and then in here you have somewhat of a decent level too, 43.33. I'll show you what I like about this level. We have resistance here on the way up, and we had a beautiful run up. This is where we lost a little bit of momentum there, and the next day we gapped down. We were able to break above this, came back down both days here and tested this 43.33 right on the head here, and then 2 more days again, right? We dropped below that, and we use this as our resistance and support, and then again we go back up above it to the next range, and we use the next 2 levels, 44.97, which is our low of our pre-market, and the low of these 2 days here, 43.33, being tested again 2 more times on 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what I like, that 43.33 on there. I definitely want to have that on my list in case we're going to lose some of these levels that we have here. So that is Z, guys. Right now pre-market is getting very active. Look at the volume on here. We got some pretty decent volume coming in, and you can see it when you have the volume, you're going to start getting some pretty nice intraday pre-market trading action. VTIQ right now started off pretty ugly. This is an ugly pre-market activity here. Look how choppy this is. We're starting to get into somewhat of a little downtrend here. Still not the best flow as we like like to see. But again, for the most part, looking a lot better than it did this morning between 6:30 and 7:30. Also, their daily has been pretty interesting. Look at this run up here. Again, we are very extended on this. We're up another 8.2 with some good volume. As far as levels, we do have 32.50, 52 high of the pre-market, the low of the pre-market all the way down to the high of basically in the previous day close of yesterday. So that's being marked down for you. I'm going to go over to the left. Let's see what we have here towards the left, if we do have something within that price range, or are we sitting at all-time high? Yes, we're sitting at all-time high on this one. So again, this stock, guys, just a month ago sitting at $9, now at $30. So again, just a massive run up on this one here. We can definitely keep an eye on this one. Since we do not have a lot of levels up here, you can go into your pre-market and start finding where you're starting to see some areas of support and resistance. You can clearly see here at 30.40, you do have an area where you've seen several days, several candlesticks just bounce off of that at 30.40. So I want to have that on there. And let's see what our pre-market is going to do now. We're going to go back down to the previous day close, or are we going to be bouncing back from any of these areas here? If we do bounce from any of this location here, this could be a good level to mark if we do bounce from there. Here is INO, guys. INO at the moment is pre-market action is looking decent, guys. Got some good volume, almost 800,000 shares traded. High of the pre-market sitting at slightly at 1393, just shy below 14. Above that, we do have this level here, 1547. I'm not sure where we got that from. Oh, here we go. From probably one of these days over here when we did our watch list. But I'm gonna remove that now. I'm gonna actually change that and update it to this area here. And then we do have another level up here. So 1649 and also 1508 are two more recent levels that we can have on our charts now that are coming from this spike over here. Towards the bottom, guys, previous day close, low of the pre-market sitting at 1260. Let's mark that down. Then below that, guys, highs and lows from the last two trading days. You pretty much got you covered towards the bottom. Just a lot of levels on here towards the top and bottom. Again, pre-market action, guys, looking very active. This is a stock that can really get some good volume going here. So we'll see how this trades. If you look at the candlesticks down here for the volume, I mean, they're doing 30 million, 60 million, 129, 130 easily, right? So let's see what it does today. Here is JD. For the most part, JD, what was attractive about JD is the way their daily setting up here. We're holding this 47. We're getting up towards that high of yesterday as well. Their pre-market action is not looking all that exciting, so I think we might move this down. But for the most part, let's do some levels. Highs and lows got you covered towards the bottom here. I don't think you need to add anymore. Maybe one more level here at 45.68 in case we lose all this support and head down here. But aside from that, guys, we pretty much cover. Towards the top here, let's see when was the last time we were in this area, if at all. Are we sitting at all-time high on JD? I didn't think we were. Oh, no, we're not. We're not. Yeah, definitely higher here over here. So let's go back into 2018. If we zoom in here, guys, look at these highs and lows right now. They're pretty much got you covered when it comes to this spike here. Slightly above that, you do have a level at 49.10. You do have another one at 50.17, and then all the way up here at 50.71 if we can really get going on JD here. Here's BYND, guys. BYND, good pre-market activity, and it has been very explosive. I think it was 2 days ago. Yesterday was great after it settled down here. Look at this nice little pop. But I think 2 days ago we had a really nice, here it is. Before yesterday, we had a really nice opening range breakup on this and never looked back. It just took off. And I saw this action, guys. This was very, very clean. So again, BYND, man, has been very, very nice in the intraday. Right now, pre-market wise, just marked down the high of the pre-market sitting at 142.49. Above that, you got the high from yesterday. Then towards the bottom, you got the highs and lows got you covered pretty much in the previous day close. So let's go back to the left here. Are we sitting at all-time high? No, we're not, because if you remember, this thing went up to 200 when it was just insane. I remember this action here was just wild. All right, let's get in here, guys. Let's see what we find towards the top. Above this 145, which was the high from 2 days ago, you do have a level right on here at 149.48, and then another one on here at 153.57. So again, two good levels towards the top. If we are going to be strong today, we're giving a little bit back right now off that pre-market high. Here is D-Dog, one that was just insane yesterday. Some pretty good trading out of this one right off the gates. 66 is the low of the pre-market. And right now, pre-market action, man, is looking really, really bad. We're not getting anything out of this. So I might move this one down and move something else up that might be looking a little bit better than D-Dog. So let's just remove it for now, and we'll see what our secondary list has that we can move up here. So D-Dog, for the most part, just to have levels in place, you do have your pre-market low here at 66. Highs and lows got you covered. Previous day closes on here as well. So I don't think you need to really add anymore. And right now, if you look at the pre-market activity, there's really no levels for you to mark down here. There's nothing happening. So I'm moving this one down. mRNA, for the most part right now, good pre-market action, guys. Some decent volume, 362. Our high of our pre-market is sitting at 64.65, and the low is sitting at 60.48. So you pretty much got yourself covered with the highs and lows. Previous day close, you got a bunch of levels in here. This one has been moving nicely off some news and some there's some trials going good for them on different the faces that they're testing. So that's what's been popping it up for the last couple of days. Let's see what we can get out of it today. Let's look at our secondary. We can move one more up. D-Dog I'm going to keep down here. JMIA I'm going to keep down here also. Grubhub and Uber, again, pretty much flat, just holding on to that previous day close line. Going to be interesting to see how these two are going to end the day or start the day this Wednesday here. So here's NVAX right now. You know what? NVX could be a good one. Let's put this one up. This could be a good one. Starting to get going here. Looks like it wants to get back into the green right now, slightly down. But they got a decent pre-market activity. They got some decent volume. Let's bring this one back up over here. So your highs and lows from the last two trading days got you covered here. For the last trading day, actually got you covered. Previous day close, pretty much sitting where the high of the pre-market is. And if we go over here to the left, I don't think we have been up here. No, I don't think you have any more levels towards the top here. Just want to double check. Nope, we do. Going back, wow, look at this gap down. Going back to 2019 here, we do have some areas of support and resistance. Towards the top, guys, we do have 51. We do have 48.92. In here, that's our pre-market high, so that's good. I think that's pretty much covers us towards the top here, guys. So I don't think you don't need to add any more on here. So NVAX, guys, was very active, very strong yesterday. It looks like it's trying to get going and get above the previous day close. So let's see how that plays out today. All right, guys, that is what we have. TWLO, beautiful daily right now. Pre-markets are looking all that great, but this one, man, the last couple of days going from 150. Well, first of all, 120 to 150, nice big gap up, and now we're almost shy of 200 here. So this one has been pretty nice. Smile Direct could be another possible. Again, I just don't like the pre-market action right now, but this one could get a little bit better, hopefully later in the day. All right, guys, that is what we have. Norm, anything that you like on your end?
Nothing other than what we've spoken about. I've got Beyond, Royal Caribbean, JD, Zillow, D-Dog, mRNA, Twilio.
All right, excellent. Let's see what our moderators are watching this morning. We have, here it is, Thor. So Thor is watching RCL, Uber, and Grubhub, which we definitely got to keep an eye on those. Those two are going to be interesting to see how they play out. How they open up this morning. CCL, and no Norm, we're not. Norm is asking, are we surprised he's watching CCL? And we're not at all. That's what took it off my list, because I'm expecting for you to call it out if something is good there. CSCO. Let's take a look at that. We haven't checked out what's going on there. So CSCO, this one a pre earnings on ATC. So we'll see. All time. What's that ATC? Was that after hours or something? Peter, you're watching Microsoft, Z, Uber. Secondary list is going to be INO, CAPR. We had a CAPR, right? CAPR. Yeah, we took this one off though. RCL and Grubhub and scanners. Eamon is watching INO and VTIQ on his list. Jared, by the way, a new moderator, guys, that joined us this week. Well, actually, he's been working with us for some time. He put out a great options course. If you have not seen it yet, go to the Education Center, scroll down to the bottom, and you're going to see the options course that he put together there. So he got the first class going. He's going to be putting out a lot more material. He's going to be joining us in the chat room as well on the mic. So once again, welcome Jared to the team. He's watching GLD, in some ETFs here, Nugget, JNUG, and NUGT. Also, some volatility product. He's watching UVXY and TVIX. He's watching this morning. Again, these are leverage, guys, so be very, very careful on those there. All right, somebody asked me, can I take a look at, what was that ticker? GLD, yes. GLD, man, this has a nice consolidation here. So this is one you're watching today, right? Jerry's watching this one here, so I think this is, yeah, definitely worth watching. I don't usually trade these, but I know Jerry's gonna have a lot of experience on trading these type of tickers, and I'm looking forward to see how you trade these, man. But this one here has a very interesting consolidation, obviously here. Pre-market is a little bit active compared to what this stock. Usually they're not active in the pre-market, but right now you can see the movement here on this GLD. So yeah, definitely one that is going to be in play this morning. All right, guys, that is what we have. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Take care, trade safe, and we will see you tomorrow.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.